Hello everybody, I am back with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys all the games that I was fortunate enough to pick up in the month of August. I actually got a considerable amount of games here. I wasn't really planning on getting this much, but Microsoft had a really good online sale. I'm not sure if they're just clearing out their stock of inventory as we go into the next generation or what, but they really, just completely cut the prices on a number of games. I only picked up one game, but we'll get into that. And then also slimming down my collection a lot. I got rid of a lot of stuff on Game Teasy and made some really nice trades as well. So let's go ahead and get right into things. And be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you picked up. And also what you're looking forward to here in the coming months. As the PlayStation 4 got a release date. I'm sure many people are anticipating that. As well as some of the upcoming Wii U and Xbox 360 releases as well. Alright, so the first game I haven't had a chance to play yet, but it completes the trilogy of games in this wonderful puzzle point-and-click adventure series on the DS, and that is Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. I have not picked up The Last Spectre. That is the last DS release that I have yet to get and play, but I'm really looking forward to playing Diabolical Box. I've heard, it continues the trend with Curious Village as being just a really nice entry in the series with great cutscenes, awesome music, and great puzzle solving as well. Really do enjoy this series of games, and I'd like to play some of the other point-and-click adventure games like the Ace Attorney games and the Virtue's Last Reward series as well. Moving right along, we have another handheld entry, or handheld game here. Final Fantasy II on the PlayStation Portable, PSP. I heard these are really nice remakes of not-so-great games. The early Final Fantasy games aren't held in super high regard, but I've heard these PSP remakes are actually really well done. So, at some point I have the first one there as well. I'd like to delve into these. If you saw my bucket list of games recently, I want to make it a goal to get through the Final Fantasy series over the course of my life. So that'll be quite the feat, but I'm looking forward to doing it at some point. Now we have some Xbox 360 titles, many of which actually had a chance to complete here in these past 2 weeks as I, go on to school. Actually, I'm not, by the time this video is up, I'll already be back in school. But the first game we have here is Toy Story 3. A really good friend of mine, Zach, ZRPG, on Twitter and YouTube, also on the Hey Listen Gaming podcast. Toy Story 3 actually is a really nice licensed game. The story itself, the campaign that you play, is only about 8 levels, and you can complete it in just a few hours. It's very short. What's really interesting about this game is the Toy Box mode, which I think the new Disney Infinity game borrows heavily from. But basically, it's this open world where, as you progress through the main story, you unlock, different things that you can buy from the Toy Box. And you add these things to the town, and, by unlocking these things, you can then talk to many of the characters from the movie, and they give you missions to complete, and you unlock more, buy more stuff, and complete all these little side missions and stuff like that. It's really a lot of fun, really interesting, and offers so much replayability. It's pretty amazing. So, Toy Story 3, you can get it for really cheap these days, and the Toy Box mode alone is well worth the purchase. Lots of replayability, and if you're not looking to, pump out literally hundreds of dollars to play Disney Infinity and experience what that game has to offer, you can get that in this Toy Box mode here for Toy Story 3 for less than 20 bucks. So, big bang for your buck, a lot of fun. Next game we have here, a game that I had also not had a chance to complete yet, but I'm actually getting really close. That is Hitman Absolution. This was one of my most anticipated releases of last year, but I unfortunately just didn't have a chance to get to it. But I have had a chance to play through about 60% of it, and while I'm really impressed with the game, it has not surpassed my love for Blood Money. Unfortunately, this game doesn't really encourage experimentation like Blood Money did. I almost feel like you're penalized for doing some of the more unique kills and things like that, because you basically get rewarded, and there's like a point system for how you go through and progress each level and complete each of your contracts. And so if you make a lot of noise, or if you kill people that aren't on your contract specifically to kill, you get penalized for that. And I I don't believe they did that in Blood Money. I think it was much more, open to kind of completing and doing what you wanted to do. And I love that about the game. It just encouraged the experimentation, and there were so many interesting and unique ways you could go about, killing the person that you needed to kill. But in this game, I feel like it's much more closed doors and you need to complete it. It encourages stealth much more. It's much more of like a Splinter Cell game rather than the earlier Hitman games, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because the story is actually really interesting and pretty compelling. You want to figure out what Agent 47's connection is to this young girl that you're basically trying to protect as, the game goes on. But still really fun, much more polished than the earlier Hitman games. There's still some really interesting and unique ways that you can, complete your contracts, and you can still, once you kill someone, take on whatever they were wearing. So you can disguise yourself as a chef or a bodyguard or whatever. It's still interesting in that regard, but I feel like it really strays from the earlier Hitman games in that it doesn't really encourage the experimentation that those games did. So still a lot of fun though. I'm enjoying it. Another game that I was actually fortunate enough to play to its completion is the Chronicles of Riddick: Assault on Dark Athena. Now this game has Assault on Dark Athena as well as Escape from Butcher Bay on this one disc, which is really nice. This is like a really interesting action first-person game that I really did enjoy. Really, really punishingly difficult though. And I was playing on one of the easier difficulty settings, but really dark game. If you're familiar with the Pitch Black Chronicles of Riddick movies, actually there's another Riddick movie coming out soon. That's kind of why I wanted to pick up this game and play it. It's still a lot of fun. Kind of reminds me of BioShock in a sense, but more so Splinter Cell because it really, really heavily relies on that stealth mechanic. But a lot of fun, interesting story. I completed it in about 8 to 10 hours, and well worth the money because you're getting 2 games on one disc, so good fun there. Now we have a few games that I haven't had a chance to play yet. We have Sonic Generations, one of the better Sonic games from what I hear, so I'm looking forward to trying that. We have Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. I love my Lego games, so I'm sure this one will be no exception. We have a game that Craig, I believe, from TV and Lust, was a fan of, and one that I have not had a chance to play yet, Naruto, The Broken Bond. I was a pretty big fan of the manga back in the day, and while I haven't really watched the anime in years, I've heard this is a really interesting kind of open-world brawler-like game, so looking forward to giving that one a try. And actually, the next game we have here is the game that actually was picked up on the Microsoft sale, and that is Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. I haven't played a Dragon Ball Z game since Budokai 2 on the PlayStation 2, which I really did enjoy. Unfortunately, I can't really say the same about this game because the incessant load times are just atrocious. I mean, in the story mode alone, you traverse this overworld, and when you actually find a battle, which surprisingly takes a while, it takes 10 to 15 seconds to load that battle, and sometimes that battle alone will only last 4 to 8 seconds, literally. And then it takes another 10 to 15 seconds to get you back to the overworld, and then you could be in a battle again within seconds, and again, you're forced with that load time again. It's just non-stop with the load times, which is really something I question because this game is the most recent, Dragon Ball Z game release. I would think that there would be less load times as opposed to more. And like I said, these aren't like 1 to 2 second load times like Skyrim going into a house. It's like 10 to 15 seconds, literally, to get into each battle and to get out of each battle. So, really frustrating, but unbelievably polished game. And, it really has every mode that you can think of, in addition to character customization and creation. You have your story mode, your typical battle mode, and in your character creation mode, you actually get a chance to kind of you're just thrust into the Dragon Ball Z world. In this open world, you're able to traverse everywhere on the map, and it's really interesting in that regard. But the load times really deter from the experience for me, and I don't really know when I'm going to get back into this. I guess when I get that itch to play a Dragon Ball Z game, which kind of comes around every now and again, but if you're looking for a super polished Dragon Ball Z game, look no further, but just be wary of the load times because they are aplenty in this game. And then I have two Wii games that I was fortunate enough to pick up. We have Massa, the Demon Blade, recently redone for the PlayStation Vita, but I never had a chance to play this, side-scrolling brawler from Vanillaware when it first released on the Wii, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. And then we have a kind of House of the Dead clone, Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles. I really enjoyed Umbrella Chronicles from what I played, so I'm sure this one will be no exception. But let me know if you've played this one. I'm looking forward to giving this one a try as well. So those are all the games that I was fortunate enough to pick up this month, but be sure to drop me a comment. Let me know what you picked up this month, and also what you're anticipating in the coming months. But I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I really do appreciate all the recent support I've gotten, and just a flood of subscribers, which has been really cool. So thanks, guys.